He's one of the co-hosts of Good Morning Football, but yet there's four of you.
Yeah.
So how can you be a co?
I'm a quad host.
You're
that's
a
what they
quad-
say. Yeah, that's
okay.
what we say in 2019. Quad host.
Yeah. So, Kyle, it's good to see you.
I'm thrilled to be here. This is some list of guests you guys have today.
Yeah. Kevin Hart was a lot of fun. Mike Krzyzewski was great. So don't screw it up. There's no pressure on you here.
The greatest guest you could possibly get, Kevin Hart, Coach K, a living deity, and then I make Peter Schrager giggle on TV. That's what I do. Glad to be here. This is fun.
Kyle is one of the hosts for the NFL Network's Good Morning Football, which airs Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. This is one of the great days of your life, I'm guessing.
I'm very emotional.
Are you?
Well, I just watched Mystic Pizza in the green room. It's a tearjerker, right? Story about a fishing town, a couple of gals in a pizza shop. Very emotional.
Yeah, but Julia Roberts, spectacular.
I mean, it might even be peak Roberts. People want to point to the Pretty Woman, but I go predate. Mystic Pizza, I think, is peak Roberts. I do.
But you were in soap operas.
Yeah.
Did you ever work with somebody that was that beautiful?
Yeah, that's what we do. And I'm
all beautiful
I'm talking about
people.
the men, the women, everybody. The stagehands in soap operas are like nines. It's incredible. I worked my father on the show. Victor Kiriakis was played by John Aniston, who's the real life father of Jennifer Aniston. So I always felt like we were like brother and sister-in-law in some way. It never worked out that way. I never met her though.
You never met her?
Never once. And this was during Pitt era Aniston. So I had this whole plan that I'm going to befriend myself with John Aniston. He's going to invite me over to Thanksgiving, and I'll sit next to Pitt and Aniston. We're going to be a power couple. Never happened. I don't even think he liked me. I forgot my lines one time, and John Aniston was like, get the hell off set. Terrible. Soap operas are tough, man.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. It's a lot of memorizing of lines. Lot. Can you do that, Dan? Like you're a television, radio. Are you good at memorizing?
Yeah.
I've seen people die right there on set because they can't remember their line about the love triangle and the amnesia. It's difficult. It's 6 pages. Don't miss the 2 up or you'll screw up the whole storyline that's taken 6 months. I've done that.
Okay, what was the strangest storyline of the soap opera? How many years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years on
Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives. Just got renewed for its 55th season, NBC. At one point, I found myself lying in a hospital bed, my character Philip, and I was seated next to Heather Mills McCartney, who was Paul McCartney's wife at the time. Heather Mills McCartney is an amputee. My character had just become an amputee, and we commiserated about what it's like to lose a limb as I sat there in a hospital bed. Now, I lost a limb, mind you, because I went overseas and there was landmines, and then I came back, and Dan, I'm not making this up. You can Google it. After my character came to terms with losing the limb, he became a NASCAR driver. I'm not kidding. Philip Kiriakis became a NASCAR with one leg, which I don't even know if that's possible with the clutch and whatnot. I respect the storyline. I think it's motivational, and I played the hell out of it. But no daytime Emmy, and not making that up. Real story.
But you did actually lose a leg for the role, which I thought...
You got to commit. That's called committing. Yes. This is actually a prosthesis right here. It's very cool. It's lifelike at this point. I'm like, Richard Kimball is chasing me. That's all I got. But I committed.
But, okay, at some point you go, I'm not going to act.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into sports.
Yeah. Everybody leaves a soap opera at one point because they're going to be Matt Damon or they're going to be Denzel, and so was I. 3.5 years, I said, I'm out of here. I'm going to get my pilot, then I'm going to do movies, and then a couple months later, I was broke and begging to be on an infomercial. I was on one. I was in an infomercial with Jose Canseco once, for real story. About selling things to people at home. That was the low point. I said, I got to get out of acting. I really was. And thank God then I got back into sports, which is like running into my old girlfriend.
Okay, but you decide you're going to be the producer for Jim Rome?
Well, he decided, but I agreed, yes.
Well, you decided you were going to go for that job.
One morning I woke up about noon. I slept in my robe. I was an unemployed actor. I grabbed my BlackBerry Curve. Out of nowhere, there's an email from Jim Rome who says, I've seen this blog that you keep. Ross Tucker, my college teammate who hosts the show, a friend of yours, so college teammate, one of my best friends, was approached to produce Rome. He said, Rome said, I've seen your writing. Would you like to come and work on my show? He said, I don't know, it's not for me, but there's a guy out there in California. His background's a little weird, but you might like him. Rome brought me in, we hit it off, and I became his producer.
And then you decided you wanted to be on the air?
Yeah, after about, I think, 6 or 7 years of like being behind the glass, as we said, then I started filling in as guest host. And it took 6 or 7 years, and I would do that for a couple of years, and then this stuff started happening. I started doing spots on like FS1 and things, and then I got an agent, and then the NFL Network called. It was crazy. Now I'm here.
No interest in acting again?
No, I was really bad at it. You know, I take that back. I was all right as an actor. You know what's really hard is the auditioning. Really, really hard. going in there and you see there's some godforsaken hellhole in the valley, and there's a camera tripod set up, and it's not even the casting agent.
What's the biggest movie you auditioned for?
All the big ones. I auditioned to be Anakin Skywalker, Captain Kirk, Superman. I mean, they'd see 30,000 people in the city to play those roles, but I did all of them. I'm doing scenes with Lois Lane. I walk in, you know how stupid you feel walking in, Dan? You try to take yourself seriously as an actor, and you walk in and Captain Kirk, and Mr. Chekhov, set the phasers to this, and I don't even know any of that Star Trek. I don't speak Star Trek. These guys look like that. Do you guys speak Star Trek?
McLovin does.
All right, so I auditioned to be Captain Kirk in the role that went, thank you, yes, Prosper, right? The one that went to Chris Pine.
Yeah.
I auditioned for that, and I did that as much as I could do with Uhura, and I thought we had chemistry and everything, but they didn't feel the same way, and I never got the role. The straw that broke the camel's back is I auditioned. They were rebooting Knight Rider, the old Hasselhoff show. And they were bringing it back, and it came back for about 5 seconds. But I did the scene. I was going to be the new Michael Knight. And the scene in the audition was with Hasselhoff comes back, and you're standing over his grave, and he comes up behind you, and he's alive. And I was like, I can get this. Got called back like 3 times. I thought this was going to be the one. Didn't get it. It wasn't even close, I don't think. I think they auditioned like 12 more guys.
Because I could see a little Hasselhoff in you.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Knight Rider, Baywatch, the guy drunk on the floor eating the cheeseburger. I can do all of those, right? I can do every Hoff, but I couldn't do that one well enough, right? Remember that cheeseburger video? That was nuts. He was shirtless and everything. Like, he got hassled, and I could be that one for you.
The number one story on Good Morning Football is what?
I think it's right now it's Eagles-Saints. The Eagles-Saints game this weekend. Because we're all caught in this prism in between what is real and what we see, which is the Saints. The Saints are at home, and they have way too many good players, versus we all want to believe in something. We want to believe in Nick Foles. We want to believe, I mean, it's almost like we want to believe in magic. We have a shrine set up on Good Morning Football, which we offer sacrificial mementos to Nick Foles. And the last thing we offered to the shrine last week was oven mitts from Freddie Mitchell. And sure enough, then they win because someone gets their mitts on a kick. And we think the magic might be real. So there's no flash photography allowed. You have to believe. There's a jacket required policy. We want to believe in magic, and we keep debating it because some of us do and some of us don't.
But also, we were talking about this morning. We want to believe in Kyler Murray playing football.
Okay.
Like we want great stories.
Me too.
Whether it's true or not, we want to believe that because that's going to spice up the draft.
I want to believe he can play both, Dan. I mean, Dion and Bo, I cut my teeth on that as a sports fan.
Yeah.
Why can't we have that anymore? The money and the injury risk.
Because
I know those are the reasons.
they weren't quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think when your quarterback is not committed, he's got to be committed year round. And I think when you would see that, and then if he didn't play well, then you say, well, he's spending too much time on baseball.
Yeah, he was 2 for 5 for the Royals last night. He should have been working on watching tape or something like that. It's such a buzzkill because I would love to see it.
But if you had him drafted by Oakland, he's already drafted by the A's, and you got the Raiders with 3 first-round draft picks. Couldn't you see a scenario where, and their AAA team, the A's AAA team is in Vegas. So by the time he gets the starting job, they would be in Vegas. Get to play baseball.
I'm loving this. I mean, I had the poster with Bo with the shoulder pads and the bat over his that was my idol, and I love Dion too. And I wonder what role Gruden would play in that, because if he's old school, I don't know where you come out then. He either comes out and I can't appreciate a guy who can do both. I remember guys who do both, or he's going to want full commitment. I don't want you playing for the A's. I want you here 24/7. It's a buzzkill.
Yeah, and I think that's a valid point when you think of Gruden, because he's the wild card, and you're not sure if it still feels like he's old school, even though, modern times.
I know.
And I think that's going to decide if he's successful or not, is can he adapt to today? It feels like Gruden is still back 10, 15 years ago.
It does. And from everything from the way he talks to the way he dresses and everything. And it's like, we're also, obviously, the number one topic now is like, we're seeing this ridiculous, crazy, almost farcical coaching spree that we're going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I live up in the suburbs up here, all right? And I have a 5-year-old son, and I'm just now entering this realm where, as parents, the switchblades are coming out, meaning they want the best for their kids. They want the personal coach. They want the private instructor. They want the specialist. And I feel like these young quarterbacks are the kids, like Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield and all of them. Every one of these owners now says, this is my pride and joy, my son. I want to raise him up to be an all-star. I have to get the special instructor, no matter what I have to pay, no matter how experienced he is. Because half these instructors, I've talked to some of them out in the park, they're crackpots. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know how to do a batting stance or anything, but they're pedigreed somehow and they want to get paid. That's what I feel like is going on. These owners are protecting their sons, those quarterbacks.
Well, it does feel like they've all come up in this system where you have the 7-on-7s and then the Elite 11, camps, and you're going to the Manning camp or Alabama's camp. The fact that Clemson's quarterback went to Alabama's camp, and then Lane Kiffin told us on Monday, I saw him as an 8th grader.
Yeah.
So they're seeing these kids before they're even playing high school football.
And Bruce Arians said the same thing about Jameis Winston. That I remember Jabu when he was 12. And so they're hiring coaches who feel like they're 12. I like it. I think it's incredible. And the McVay thing is fascinating right now because Sean McVay, they're playing against America's team. Sean McVay right now is America's coach. He's getting everybody hired. He's getting everybody jobs. It's crazy. Like, remember, I moved here a couple summers ago, and I moved here in the prime of when that Pokemon Go thing was going around, and these imbeciles are running through Central Park chasing after cartoons. I feel like right now it's like a Coachimon, like everyone's just running after trying to catch them all. Get the little coaches, and we got the LaFleur thing, and it animates and everything. Everyone's trying to get the McVay. But what's interesting is if McVay loses this weekend to Dallas, it's like, all right, so you can get me a job, and you're cool, and you got a beard, and you're sexy, but can you even win? We're all trying to copy McVay. No one wants to copy Anthony Lynn. Shouldn't everyone want to copy Belichick and Peterson? McVay's great, but you lose this weekend. The bloom is off the rose.
He hasn't won a playoff game yet.
No, he'd be 0-2, both at home.
And, 2 years ago, Adam Gase was the hot property.
I remember it.
You got to get Adam Gase.
I love Gase. I love Gase because he doesn't care that I love him. He doesn't care what you think. I watch these reality shows. I watch The Amazing Race or Survivor. There's always one character who ends up winning. And it's the same soundbite every single year. Bachelor, Bachelorette. They always say, I didn't come here to make friends. That person always wins. That's the strategy. The other people have friends for life. Gase did not come here to make friends. Not with the media, not with the quarterback. He does it his way, and I really like that because everyone wants to be liked now.
I don't know if he's any good. You can be a great coordinator.
Yeah.
My problem is when you become a great coordinator, we all of a sudden say, well, you got to make him a head coach. Mm-hmm. There are certain guys who are meant to be pitching coaches and not managers.
100%.
Certain guys who are great. All of Belichick's offensive and defensive coordinators should have stayed offensive and defensive coordinators.
Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, all those guys.
Even Matt Patricia.
Maybe Bill O'Brien. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Bill O'Brien's a head coach.
Neither did the Colts. They just destroyed them. And
I look at Texans
There's some guys who are just play within yourself. Respectfully, somebody like Dirk Cutter, who just got let go, and now he's a coordinator.
And he's not a head coach.
No, but a great coordinator.
Yes.
I love it as a coordinator, not a head coach. You bring up a good point, though. That is Gase one of those guys who can't hit the turnaround 25-foot jumper, but if you give him a perfect pass, he'll do the layup? I don't know. I think Gase still has it in him. I like it. He took the Dolphins to the playoffs with Ryan Tannehill his first year. Second year, he gets hurt. He's with Cutler. That was a nonsense year. This year, Tannehill banged up again. That 2016 year was pretty awesome.
But we're bringing in these guys because they're quarterback whisperers.
That's it.
Kitchens gets hired because Baker Mayfield, proved to be great when he got out from under Hugh Jackson. You're bringing in Cliff Kingsbury because of Josh Rosen. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to bring in Adam Gase because of Sam Darnold. Yep. Everybody's committing their team to one player. Mm-hmm. That's not the right approach to have. You're bringing in LaFleur because he's an offensive guy and he's going to help Aaron Rodgers somehow. Yeah. Now, Denver didn't do that with Vic Fangio.
No, they went the other way.
Yeah. And their quarterbacks need more help than any other team.
They don't even know if they have a quarterback.
No, they don't.
But it's a cool thing because you see the games last weekend, I think the highest point total was 24 points.
Yeah.
There's teams in the teens. There was a team that didn't get to 10. And I think this weekend is going to be the same thing. Everyone says the Saints are going to put up 50 and the Colts and Chiefs can go back and forth. I don't think so. And if you look at these teams that are built around one player, look at the Colts. I know the Colts are not sexy and it's Indiana and they're not fun and on and on and on. And we talk about them on our show and it's like, more Cowboys, more Cowboys. I love the Colts because they built it from inside out and their guards are good and their tackles are good. And I know that doesn't sell jerseys and fatheads and stuff, but damn, they will run you right over. I love that. And I think they're going to win this weekend.
But do you guys, and I know that it's formulaic.
Yeah.
If you watch, the show with Skip Bayless or you watch First Take, they will hit the Cowboys as often as possible.
When they're not hitting LeBron.
So LeBron and the Cowboys as much as possible. You being in a football show, are you told let's work in the Cowboys some way, somehow, every single day?
Absolutely not. No, not at all. And remember, we started, our first season was 2016, which was a glorious season for the Cowboys. That's Dak and Zeke, rookie jumping into the kettle, everything. No, not at all. In fact, I think we take pride in hitting every single team. Like, I don't know, maybe it's to our fault. Maybe we should start more with the Cowboys. Those shows that you mentioned are successful shows.
Yeah,
and they talk a lot of Cowboys. But also, it's like, I also think that those shows annoy a lot of people because this is too much Cowboys and LeBron. And it's this debate as an entertainer, someone on TV. Do you want to have the highest rated show possible, which there are ways, or do you want to have what you feel is the best show possible? I think we could probably have better ratings on our show if we talk more Cowboys, but I don't want to do that. I like to do what we do.
I can't do it.
Tell me about that. Why not?
I think this show evolves naturally. We come in and we go, what do we want to talk about today? Not, hey, let's talk about Dak Prescott. Is he a better quarterback than Jared Goff? Like, let's shoehorn something in here. Let's talk about Jerry Jones's $250 million yacht.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And let's tie it to a social issue in some way. Just get some juice. Yeah. I get it.
But even let's talk about LeBron, good or bad. That's not how I was brought up to do this. You do the story that's in front of you. You do the right story at the right time. And look, do we sacrifice ratings? I'm sure if we talked about the Cowboys and LeBron, we would do better. I can't do that every day.
I know.
And I do applaud the fact that Skip Bayless can somehow
it's a talent.
do a show every day where you touch on those two topics. And Stephen A. Smith, they're able to do that. I just can't do that.
I can't either. And it's not just the topic. Then you get to the next layer of what is the take. You know, my burden is I always want to say something original. Now, what happens is if you want to say something original and stick out, you find yourself getting very extreme, either extremely positive, this is the best player in the history of the world, or you just destroy people.
It can be dangerous.
Very dangerous because you don't even mean it, but you're just so motivated by saying something different. And I want to give you a compliment. I think you're one of the few people who can just talk sports without saying something completely ostentatious that you don't even mean. But damn, I got 6,000 retweets. I'll say it again tomorrow. It's an art right now, and we try to do it hard. But you can fall into the hot take trap because you want to have a cool opinion, and you believe it. I think you can maybe justify it, but then when you start to see those retweets and all that, you start to believe a lot of things. It's a whole religion there on Twitter. It really is.
Can't do it. No. I got it. Okay. Here's a hot take.
What you got? Oh, I love this. Give it to me.
If Jason Garrett's coaching for his job this weekend,
and I'm saying yes or no?
Yeah.
No. Jason Garrett extended his job last weekend. That was a big win. That's a big win for Dak, for Jerry, for Jason.
That's not a hot take. Do you understand what we're doing, Kyle?
I think you undersold it. I think, never mind Garrett, I think Belichick's coaching for his job. I do. Yeah. You cannot lose at home to a team you're 7-0 against. I think you have to replace him. You got McDaniels waiting in the wing, shopping at the bit.
Brady playing for his job?
Listen, Brian Hoyer throws a nice ball. People sleep on Brian Hoyer. They're expecting Brady. So I would think so, yeah. I think Mahomes is playing for his job, too. Have you ever seen Chad Henne? The thing whistles when it comes out of his hand. Okay. I don't sleep on Henne now.
We got something here.
Everyone was just about to change it. Said, whoa, what did Patrick just say?
Wait, this is what you guys need to do on Good Morning Football, is just have fake hot takes.
We'll pass it back.
And just call it fake hot takes, and somebody dresses up as Skip Bayless. Let Kay Adams dress up as Skip Bayless.
And we'll call it worst take or maybe hot potato, and we'll just pass it back and forth, right?
Yeah, but you just make up a hot take.
Right.
Just like they do.
My take on Kyler Murray, I think you try basketball there. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's more money, longer life expectancy. Golf, you can play till you're 80. And baseball or football, everybody's done that.
Okay, we got hot takes there.
This is simple.
Thanks for stopping by.
This is a thrill to be here. I have a lot of memories of listening to you and watching you. I'm really, really appreciated to be here.
Thank you, Kyle.
This is cool.
Kyle Brandt, NFL Network Good Morning Football quad host. Not
quad host.
Not
yes.
co-host. Quad host.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.